Hey y'all, it's me, No More Toxic People. I wanted to talk about something had occurred to me earlier. I, I was driving, and listening to the radio. And if you're from the South, and maybe not, if you're not even from the South, if you're over a certain age, you have heard of the band Leonard Skinner. And if you are a true Southerner, you've probably seen them in concert about 3 or 4 times, like I have. But anyway, we love our Leonard Skinner. But there's a song that I've heard a gazillion times. Can sing it word for word when I hear it on the radio. And it's called That Smell. And if you haven't heard it, you've been living under a rock somewhere, but go listen to it. It's an old 70s Southern rock song. And it's about drugs and alcohol. It's about addiction. It's about someone who is fighting addiction or is one step away from just finally, being gone. And there's a line in the song. I was driving along today and I'm listening to it, not thinking of one little problem that confronts you. You've got a monkey on your back. Just one more fix might do the trick. One hell of a price for you to get your kicks. Now, I've heard that song. I've heard that line in that song a dozen gazillion times in the last year, probably. And I never thought anything about it until today when I heard it. And I had to turn the radio off and think about that line because it's about addiction. And I started thinking that's how I was toward my narcissist ex. His hoovering me. And this was before I knew about hoovering. This was before I understood any of this stuff. But his hoovering me was the drug that I needed. I couldn't think back on the first few times that he reached out to me. It angered me. The first time he ever texted me after a year of no contact between us, after discard, he texted me, and I was so mad. I said, how dare he send me a message after a year, after the way he treated me, and disrespected me, and lied to me, and all that, all the above. But I also remember the next time that he reached out and texted me, I was excited. I was like, I was upset about it. I didn't want to talk to him. I didn't want to see him. But at the same time, I did. And I gave in and I texted him back. And each time after that, I knew it was going to hurt. I knew each time that he and I had contact with each other that he was going to lie a little bit more, he was going to mistreat me a little bit more, disrespect me a little bit more, all of that stuff the way that he had done before. I knew it was coming. But I couldn't help myself. I couldn't stay away. He was my drug. He was my fix, and I needed that fix. I needed that feeling. I needed that high and that rush that I got each time that I would hear from him and he would reach out to me. And even whenever he would hurt me again and again. And I would tell myself, I'm not going to talk to him anymore. I don't want anything to do with him. He needs just to stay away from me and leave me alone. And he would for a while. He wouldn't bother me. I wouldn't hear from him. And then after a while, he would show right back up and I would be like hooked all over again. And when I thought about that today, when I heard that line in that song, one more fix might do the trick. Well, one more fix never does the trick with a narcissist. You never get enough. You never get what you're looking for from them. You're never going to get the love that they offered you or promised you. Excuse me. I got a little bit of frog in my throat. You're never going to get the love that they promised you, that you thought. You're never going to get that relationship that they promised you. You're never going to get that life. You're never going to get any of those promises fulfilled. You're never going to get anything from them but heartache, hurt, anger, sadness, more lies, more deceit, more destruction. They're going to take from you and take from you and take from you each time and leave you less and less of your former self. And that's drugs. That's what drugs do. If you've ever known an addict, and let's face it, we've all known somebody who's an addict or an alcoholic. A drug, the word drug can be anything that someone is addicted to. Sex, gambling, gaming, a person such as a narcissist. It's all the same. We gotta have it, even though we know it's bad for us. We know we don't want it. We don't want it. Drug addicts don't want to use. But you know, when you watch these shows on TV, like what is that, Intervention? You see these people. They're hurting. You know, what is presented. You see this drug addict who's out selling their body or stealing or doing whatever it takes to get the money to buy their drug, their next fix that they know is only going to get them high enough for a little while, and then they're going to have to get right back out there and do it all over again. They're hooked. They're addicted. Now, we may not go that far, and I'm not saying that people wouldn't. You know, we give I had a friend. She would give money to this man. She moved him into her home. She bought him a wardrobe. She helped him get a car. She just built him up and made him into what she wanted. But he wasn't what she wanted. He kept using her and hurting her and taking from her more and more. But she kept going back. And people kept saying, why does she keep going back to him after he proves time and again what he really is? Well, why did any of us go back? Why did any of us answer the Hoover? Why did any of us say, you know, why don't you love me? What was wrong with me that I wasn't good enough? We try everything in our power to give them what they want. We try to build them up. We try to coax them out of the pain that they present, that they're really not in. We're the ones in pain. We are addicts to these narcissists, and when we finally start to recover, it's a battle. Recovery, whether you're trying to get clean and stay clean from drugs and alcohol or gambling or sex or anything, a narcissist, anything that you're trying to rid your life of, you're never going to be rid of them. That is something that I've learned by being close to someone who is a recovering narcotic addict and follows the 12-step program of Narcotics Anonymous. And I've learned, and I've been reading and researching this on my own, and I've started doing some of those steps myself to try to heal my own internal struggles and toxic traits and things that I need to work on myself that have no relation to the narcissist. Things that took place in my life before he was ever even a part of it, many years before he became a part of it. That's usually the case for most people who become addicts or alcoholics. Eating, people who are addicted to food, whatever it is that you're addicted to, you're just trying to fill a space inside of you that you can't seem to fill. You can't seem to get enough comfort, enough pleasure to take away that pain and those voices in your head reminding you about it. And it's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. Recovery is an ongoing process that confronts you. You've got a monkey on your back. Now, in our case, some of us who are on these videos may have other addictions. We may have had addictions prior to the narcissist, and the narcissist became our substitute drug. I myself have battled and struggled with food addiction for most of my life, most of my adult life from adolescence on, young adulthood on, and I didn't even realize then that I was trying to fill a void inside of me using food. And I substituted the narcissist for food because he found me and I found him. He became my substitute drug. He became what I needed to fill that void inside of me, of that missing food. And the food had been a void to fill, to cover up some other hurt in my life. And it was long after, it was just this year, it was just a few months ago, in fact, that I finally got all of that, and it all came together for me, and I finally realized it. The monkey on my back was not the narcissist. It wasn't even the food. It was whatever had taken place in my life years ago as a child, the bullying. I was born with a slight, I don't want to call it a handicap, but I was born with a slight disability. It caused me to have it caused me to be different than other kids in my class. And when I went into school at the age of 5 or 6 years of age, having never been around anybody but my family, my parents, and I'm put into the school system, and I'm laughed at, and I'm made fun of, and I'm mocked, and I'm bullied, and this continued throughout my life as I got older. I learned, going into adolescence, I learned that I could beat them from laughing at me by having them laugh with me, and I became the class clown. And I started getting into trouble in school, and I started, having issues in school. And this led in turn to me, skipping school, and I dropped out of school, and I got pregnant as a teenager, and it's all just one substitute right after the other for whatever it was that I was trying to fill, whatever void it was in my life that I was trying to fill going back into my childhood. And it wasn't until just very recently, within the last, I would say 5 or 6 months, that I finally figured all that out. It finally occurred to me that all of that was just a product. It was just a byproduct of some deeper hurt that went back way before, I got involved with him. Way before I started having issues with food and developed a weight problem. And I knew I was always searching. I was always looking for the greener grass. I was always looking for the better feeling, the better person, the better friend, the better fun, whatever it was. I was always searching for something more that I couldn't get. And so the narcissist shows up at a time when I was looking for something. And there he was. He found me. He found his perfect victim. He found his perfect supply. And I found the substitute for whatever it was that I was trying to heal from. And I thought, here he is. He's it. He's Mr. Perfect. He's the answer to everything I've ever wanted. He's because he groomed me to believe that. And I may, in turn, have groomed him a little bit to be what I wanted, to take the place of what was ailing me and hurting me. And one little problem that confronts you, you've got a monkey on your back. Just one more fix might do the trick. One hell of a price for you to get your kicks. So now, to me, when when he would hoover me, and I would be so giddy with excitement, I would be like, he's messaging me. I got to talk to him. And it was a cat and mouse game, and I was playing just as much as he was, and I was enjoying whenever he would reach out to me. It made me excited. It made me feel wanted. It made me feel like he still cared about me. All the lies and things he had said to me had been real after all. Because there he was. He wanted me. And it made me feel excited. It was a rush. It was a fix. But it was one hell of a price for me to get my kicks. See what I'm saying? Every time he would do this, I would get this little momentary excitement and happiness and joy talking to him and hearing him say the same things to me that he had said to me before. That filled this space inside of me that made me feel good. It was that drug, it was that high that I was looking for. But at the same time, it was destroying me because it was damaging me more and more each time. Until finally, it was consuming me, just like any other drug, just like any other addiction. It was taken away from who I was. It was taken away from my ability to heal and to get well and to leave that behind me. And it got to the point that I finally had to block him and go no contact in order to start trying to recover. And I did. I started working through these 12 steps, and I started reading, and I started looking inward and taking my own inventory and working on these issues within me. And then he would show right back up again. But this time, I had more knowledge. I knew about narcissism. I had learned about the narcissistic traits and the way that I had learned about hoovering and all of that, and gaslighting and all those adjectives. It didn't mean that I was no longer addicted to him. It didn't mean that I was no longer addicted to that thrill and that happiness that I got. But now it was replaced with me knowing that it was bad for me. It's just like when an addict finally gets clean, they still have that desire for that high and that feeling, but they have to find something else to replace it, and they have to find something positive. This is one reason why you see so many people who have weight loss surgery who go right back to using food once they continue to abuse food. They get involved in something else, alcohol or drugs. When they can't get the high and the rush that they need from the food, they find something else. It's the same thing with an addict with drugs or any other addiction. And for us, the supply, it's the same thing for us. We hate the way that they make us feel. We hate that we long for them. We hate that they have destroyed us inside and damaged us. For the rest of our lives, we're damaged people now. And we heal and we recover and we work on ourselves, and then they show up and they try to pull us back into that addiction. But we have to find something positive. We have to find something to continue to fight for going forward, something that is for our betterment and improving ourselves, and not replacing it with something else. Replacing it with food, replacing it with drinking, replacing it with having an affair with someone else, or hooking up with someone that from your past or some new person, or having random partners, or whatever, online shopping, YouTube videos, whatever it is that we find that we try to replace that fix and try to get that same feeling from. But we have to find something that empowers us, and that does include YouTube videos. I do include that. You can become addicted to them, and they can become harmful to you if you are not careful, because you're replacing you start to binge watch these videos, and it consumes you, and that keeps that memory and that feeling of that narcissist and that relationship and that pain and that cycle. It just keeps it going and going and going. So eventually you're going to have to turn off your YouTube, and you're going to have to go outside, and you're going to have to face the world. You're going to have to go to work. You're going to have to face your family and your friends. You're going to have to find new people to take the place of the people that you know are not good for you, and the people that left your side, that weren't there to watch you struggle, who didn't offer you a hand up. You have to leave those people behind and go on and find positives. If it's church, if it's religion, if it's health, if it's exercise, if it's being outdoors, getting sunshine, if it's painting or reading or writing or being artistic in some way, creating. If it's helping someone else by counseling someone else. If it's going back to school and furthering your education to better your career so that you're not financially dependent on anybody else. Whatever it is, it has to be something that empowers you and builds you up and gives you that rush in a positive, exciting, healthy way. And I'm going to leave y'all with that note. I just wanted to kind of, for those out there who haven't got this yet, and I got it, I knew it, but when I heard that song, it really hit me. And I said, that's just like the way it is when you are, when some information about the narcissist in your life appears again, whether it's them hoovering you, trying to get you to come back, or trying to, mess with your mind, or whether it's the flying monkey sending out information, or even, like in my case, accidentally clicking on a picture of someone else and seeing pictures of him with a new woman, and then I was scrambling for more. I needed to find out more and more and more about this, and learning that he had married this woman after 2 or 3 weeks of having discarded the one that he left me for. And it's like this vicious cycle, and it was a negative for me. It was a setback for me momentarily. I had to face it. And now it's time for me to find some positive reinforcement and to continue to work on my own recovery, and whatever he's out there doing, and whoever he's out there hurting, and whoever he's damaging and lying to and manipulating. I'm just glad today to say that it's not me. Just for today, I'm glad to say that I am clean from him, and that I am free from his manipulation and his lies. And I'm ready to just continue to recover and work on myself. And I hope each of you can take something from this video that's positive. I didn't mean for this to drag on so long. And I'm going to go now, and I thank y'all for watching.